get to the Bucks, where Chris Middleton, not Giannis, Chris Middleton led the Bucks in scoring last night. And let's not stop there. 7 Bucks scored at least 14 points in the win over the Cavaliers. Ramona, is this Bucks? I don't even want to say the supporting cast, because they are a team, right? This is what a traditional team looks like, right? One really big star and lots of other good players. Are they a little underrated to you? What do you think?
I mean, I guess they're underrated in that Giannis gets a lot of the attention, but this is reminding me of Mike's team in Atlanta, right? This is the way that he built the Hawks, and they just never had that great superstar to help them win playoff series, but this is always how Mike's teams like to play.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, like, they can't be underrated when they just won 60 games a season ago.
Yeah.
And I think they have
changes those
well, they have changed. You know, Brogdon no longer being there, but 9 players averaging at least 9 points per game. Middleton, Bledsoe, Matthews, Lopez squared, Korver, George Hill, like you name all those guys, those are legit players. So I think they've surrounded Giannis with people that he can be confident in, you know, distributing the ball to.
To me, this is always, they should always have gotten more credit than they did coming into this season. And I'm not a huge fan of supporting cast as a way of talking about anyone anyway. This is a really good team, as you pointed out. Yes, some tweaks, but they won so many games last year. The question remains, though, hey, is this a team that can win in the playoffs? That has been a criticism of Bud. You point out the way Bud's teams play, that kind of thing. And there's that sort of extra ticking clock there because Giannis has said in so many words here and there, hey, we have to do well this season. He hasn't quite said what that well would be for him to sign that Supermax, but that pressure is, of course, there. A lot of people picking the Sixers in the East, and I'm interested to see how these different Bucks players respond to that throughout the course of the season in the playoffs, because basically what the people picking the Sixers are saying, hey, there's more stars on that team. The stars around and near Giannis aren't as bright, and I think they want to show people we're pretty good. So we'll see if they do that. I want to get to this next story because we have been following it on the jump. The NCAA's top decision makers voted unanimously today to, hey, imagine that. They're going to start the process of modifying their rules to allow college athletes to profit from their name, image, and likeness. This is after the same officials fought tooth and nail against this idea. You know, they liked the idea of companies like Nike or Adidas paying endorsement money to the schools instead of the kids getting it, but the state of California forced their hand here, and with more states incubating legislation, now the Board of Governors wants to immediately begin figuring out how to update its rules, with changes to be complete by January 2021. Board Chair Michael Drake said of the decision, quote, "We must embrace change to provide the best possible experience for college athletes. Additional flexibility in this area can and must continue to support college sports as a part of higher education. This modernization for the future is a natural extension of the steps that the NCAA members have taken in recent years to improve support for student athletes, including full cost of attendance and guaranteed scholarships." Shanae, I mean, look, you can tell from my voice, it's just a little hard for me to applaud people who are forced at knife point to make a change for them talking about how they're embracing change or embracing it because everyone made you. And by the way, they spent lobbying dollars in California to try to fight this. They spent money to try to prevent athletes from getting money. That's how much they wanted the schools to get to keep the money that they're getting off the athletes. How do you feel? Because I'm apparently still all worked out.
You know, it's so ironic because you mentioned the cost of attendance, and I just was remembering that I just got my cost of attendance settlement check in the mail, and my sisters and I were in a group chat saying, like, who got the most money? I got $4,000 because they were off on that number, and I could have used that $4,000, that $1,000 per year instead of eating at Chipotle. Maybe I'm eating at a restaurant, right? Oh my gosh, these are my highlights. I can't even believe you guys found this. As grateful.
You were a very good college player. You were drafted #1 overall. So yes, it's easy to find your highlights.
I'm just teased. Yeah, this was a great time. But you know, I think the criticism is that, like, they say that scholarships should be your compensation, right? But it's really interesting because the degree you get sometimes is not the degree you wanted to get. You know what it's like at Stanford. When we're there, it was work as student athletes. You know, softball and basketball, it was work. And there are a lot of students that are your peers that are also doing work, and they can profit off of their name and their likeness. What at Stanford it was like building apps and starting businesses. Meanwhile, we're student athletes that are pretty much working a 9 to 5, and then on top of that going to school, and then you graduate and you're like, okay, was this the degree that I really wanted? Sometimes it just doesn't feel right. Especially when you're, you know, we talk about the 1% that makes big money in the NFL or the NBA or the WNBA, but the 99%, they should get a piece of the pie as well.
Well, I mean, it's a good point you make about the degree you get, because there's a lot of things, the doors that are closed. Like you can't go study abroad, you can't take afternoon classes. Oh, that's when we practice. Okay. I always remembered every year I would do an internship, and we'd have to like run it through the compliance office to make sure that I didn't get that internship at Sports Illustrated for Women because I was a student athlete at Stanford, that this wasn't an extra benefit, right? So there's all these stupid rules that need to like go away or at least be revised. But I think what we're really talking about is a fundamental system change, and there is so much more work to go. And I'm frankly like, yes, there is a gritting your teeth and saying like that statement was obviously written by a highly paid political communications consultant, and they did a nice job writing it because they're embracing change because they have no choice but to embrace change. But I, for one, am just glad we're not in the court system, because this could have gotten longer, uglier, and more expensive, to where at least now the NCAA says, okay, if we must change, at least we'll be a part of it. At least we will not fight it anymore. And they're going to try to determine some of their own ways that they're going to change rather than have it forced upon them, which it already has been.
I mean, look, I think they saw the tide of public opinion turning. LeBron James, a big part of changing that public opinion. He tweeted, quote, "It's a beautiful day for all college athletes going forward from this day on. Thank you guys for allowing me to bring more light to it. I'm so proud of the team and Uninterrupted bringing focus to this, and to everyone who has been fighting this fight. Not a victory, but a start." He's right about that. The Uninterrupted team did a big documentary on this that was really effective. He's been very outspoken. Draymond Green's been outspoken. Kevin Durant has been outspoken. And when voices like that help younger players and reach a hand up, I think it always makes a difference. It's going to make a difference now when these guys are actually getting compensated for some of what they earn, that notoriety that they're bringing their school. Coming up, we will talk about the better duo. Name a better duo, people. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, or Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis?
Oh.
I guess we'll find out when they face off in the League Pass game of the night tonight.
Let's go.
We'll discuss. First, though, it's time for our second distant replay of the day. This one is from this date in 2003. We like 2003 right now, apparently, but this one features Baron Davis. Not a young LeBron, a Baron Davis. And losers at the trade deadline. That is what we call a transition, people. The Miami Heat hosting Atlanta tonight. We are finally going to see this team at full strength. I am excited. Jimmy Butler making his Heat debut against the Hawks. Remember, he missed the first 3 games of the season due to the birth of his daughter. And check this, his daughter is named Riley.
Wow.
But Jimmy wants everyone to know she is not named after Pat, because it is spelled Rylee. Shanae, getting to see Jimmy run with this team, what are your expectations tonight?
First of all, they've already surprised us without Jimmy. Kendrick Nunn, even Tyler Hero had a great preseason as a rookie. But I think this is where the identity is going to come through. I mean, we just saw Eric Spoelstra really turn, like pointing at all the referees with all the smoke. They wanted all the smoke. Now he's got his guy back. Jimmy Butler is that type of guy that I know it sort of made him, a problem in Minnesota, made him a problem a little bit in the 76ers when he would cuss teammates out or hold them accountable. But I feel like that's the side that they want in Miami. So I'm excited to see what Jimmy does.
Well, he is a Pat Riley kind of guy.
Yeah, totally.
This is the type of player that Pat usually likes to build a culture around, and they went out and got him. I mean, we were debating on this show endlessly, like, who would give Jimmy that kind of a contract, and there was an answer to it: Miami. Not everybody wanted to invest that much into Jimmy Butler, but I think he's the type of player that not only does he appreciate it, it makes him feel validated, because in a lot of the places he's been over the last few years, part of the problem started when he felt like, oh, they're not going to invest in me.
Right, and they didn't appreciate what I bring to the table, and people who know how to deal with, as you say, the smoke that he brings. But they want it there, right?
But yeah, absolutely. And with D Wade, retiring, he's sort of the next best guy to really fill in those shoes. So I feel like it's going to be a good transition for the Heat fans as well.
Yes, and there's been a passing of the torch because, of course, Dwayne and Jimmy so close in Chicago that there's been a lot of endorsement from D Wade of Jimmy, sort of setting him up for success with the Heat fans. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight. Our League Pass game of the night, also a lot of fun. Mavs at Nuggets. The Nuggets are off to a 3-0 start, but they're going to be playing on a back-to-back. So we'll get a look at 2 of the best duos in the NBA. One might be a little bit tired, but they're still going to be coming at each other. Ramona, who are you taking? Jokic and Murray, or Doncic and
This is
Porzingis?
hard.
It's really hard.
Are we saying this year or in the future?
Right now, tonight. Who are you taking tonight?
Okay, tonight I'll take the Nuggets, even though it's a back-to-back, but it's in Denver, right?
Okay, right.
So that's different. But in the future, wow, I kind of want to go with Luka and Porzingis, just because I think their ceiling is that high.
Yeah, and this is Team International. We've got Canada, we've got Serbia, we've got Latvia, we've got Slovenia, you name it, whatever country, it's right there. So it's cool how the NBA is globalizing. So if you are, if you're foreign, watch this game. This is your bag.
I mean, if you're anyone watching watch this game.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it is going to be a lot of fun. I think. I don't know. I think the Mavericks are in a position to threaten for a playoff spot this year. That's obviously a different position than the Nuggets are. They want to threaten for an NBA Finals spot, but I think I see this working. I don't know. Well,
and I also like the other night when Luka had an off shooting night and they lost that game. Everybody else was talking about the challenge at the end of the game. Luka said, "No, it was my fault.
Yeah,
I made the wrong play there."
And that responsibility.
Yeah, and for him to be that young and already saying things like that's big.
I don't know. All right, this just in at the buzzer. Apparently, y'all have VCRs or DVRs or something, because I might have spilled my drink a little bit while we were having a Knicks discussion.
Oh!
Okay, it happens, people.
Rachel is always spilling the tea.
Points to make. That's actually physically what happened.
Rachel's always spilling the NBA tea.
There you go. And noted Knicks fan, Worldwide Wub, felt like I do. Yeah, he called me out just a little bit.
It's tea,
Is the
though.
spilled coffee symbolism when discussing the Knicks? But what had happened was it was an accident, right? Come on.
And we all kept it together.
Thank you.
I think that was what was important.
We're talking about the Knicks. We're always mean mugging when we talk about the Knicks.
Praise the Knicks. Talked about them having hope. This is a positive Knicks environment today.
And what we're really
Not
going to
when
do
Stephen A. is on the show, but today
Shanae
it
is going to hit the
or
shot.
Zach. Oh yeah, she's going to shoot the basket.
Let's
Very
go again.
exciting
Round
here.
two.
Jump back on ESPN at 3 Eastern.